This is the one about Dr. Wine. Today I woke up bored, more bored than often. The night had gotten away from me. I had a girl on me last night. This was a lovely girl. Little brown eyes, long big eyelashes, tight red dress and high heels. Touched her thighs. I was fond of this little girl. I met her inside of a bar. We talked for hours. She spoke to me about her dreams, ambitions, and this little boy that creeps throwing rocks at her window where she lived in the city. I wined her, drained her at the restaurant, out of the village for hours, picking her brain with all my new ideas and parts of the human body that can enhance its natural abilities. See, I was a doctor, the doctor of the mind, a profound sociologist, sociopathist, psychologist. In my day, Dr. Ed is my name. The blonde girl, she intrigued me. For me, I wanted no other thing to see her inside of her brain, to tell of her thoughts poured out like the sweet girls I spoke so highly of back in college. The night was getting to the mill's end. I wanted nothing better to be back at my humble home, speak the language I so commonly contrasted to the female gender. A simple kiss would not do. I would need the entire face to satisfy my desire for her flavor. That is, I altogether knew that tonight would be her last night together with me. What belonging to us an overnight security blanket that we had. Coming down the stairs of a two-story restaurant, it revealed the tender-hearted nature of an individual. So I peacefully looked into her eyes. We got into the car. I could imagine her sleep already, her eyes so peaceful. The entire way we spoke of the night, the fright, don't be polite kind of night. I cordially opened the door, left the mind in front of the door of the large house. I let her out. We went inside, my evening design gown. The room that I've created for such beauty, as beautiful as a woman, like this woman in this red gown. She sat on my comfortable, what the French would call a goupière, the fabric that lined my beautiful couch. She was so kin to the foreign luxuries I knew. I knew that I indeed intended on bedding her tonight. I would need to mix her the cocktail that I mix for all my special visitors. Of course, my familiar constituents also. We drank. From the shiny, glowing gas I had brought for her. My maids had already gone home. It was just now I sat next to her, gentleman like I was. Not to touch her, but so gently drank from my old glass also, but both of us fine. Drank a 1932 La Cabernet Sauvignon, the finest red wine in Italy. I was up, full of knife like no other night. I had to be sure my date would not die before our big finale upstairs, of course. I took the glass from her hands, not to startle her too much, ripped her enthusiasm away from her with a swift peek upon her lips. Another peck upon her forehead, to be sure she was keenly caressed. I lifted her head, took her up into my upper room to desire, unwrapped her body, skin from bone. I used my toys and instruments to soothe her tensions. The wine had worn off and my indulgence was allowing her to scream. Grasping at my back, I held myself away from finishing too early. More and more, I heard her scream. After I had finished, she had passed out. I lifted her body once more. I put her in position for resting, and I sat and watched her smile, so bright as snow, almost I say. In peace she was, in peace she was, indeed. Young lady in a red wine dress, one night with Dr. Dread, and one night you'd always dread. That dread wine. Did you like? Was it good? Was it good? Was it good? I think it was delicious. It was tasty. I like that one. How about you? Charles. Yes, that's it. Charles!